can do what I want. I can steal, I can murder, I can beat up my wife. The domestic violence is going to be a crime very soon because they are pushing to break this law. But we need the judges to comply because we need to stop the violence against women. This year, 2,500 women have been murdered. They were born, they were good, and now they are dead.
In Russia, 14,000 women every year are killed by their husbands. One woman every hour. For a long time, it is just me, alone, on the phone, counseling people, trying to help them find legal aid. And I can't do what a normal hotline could do. I'm the only person doing this in all of Russia.
If there is no clinic, no hospital, no transportation, there is nothing. So we need to train the woman on the vaccination, sanitation, nutrition. We make a basic midwife toolkit. Even we coordinate with Taliban. I always tell them openly what is the project, how it benefits the woman, what is the budget impact, and the Taliban said, well, okay, we'll let you have your project. If you will teach women the Quranic verses about the prayers, and we want to see your material to be sure there is nothing against Islam. We don't want Western ideas to be enforced. So we say, this is fine. So they are accept us. We place materials inside the midwife toolkits.
The calling of the soul ceremony. I do it because, you know, it's part of my culture. But do I really believe in it? I don't think so. The most painful part for me is when the children say, give me my soul back. I translate those words into a fight for justice. And I say, help money win the case against your trafficker. That will be justice. And she does win. The trafficker and brothel owner are found guilty and go to jail. But the man who first raped her has never been found. So in that sense, Muni's soul can never return to her. These victims will be whole again only when they feel free from being raped again, sold again. If the man won't come back and harm them. But what if the man lives next door? We gave Moni everything. She came and lived with us, but she couldn't stay. She ran away, cut herself totally off from her family. And now she's somewhere in some other world.
In my society, the name they give you at birth shows how much they value you. So my name Hafsat means the treasured one. My dad, he called all his girls super girls, but I had big self-esteem issues. My mum was a legendary beauty. She was one of 4 wives, and there were 19 children. I think once I came out of Nigeria, I realized it's okay to be different. I used the time away to build my own sense of who Hafsat is.
My grand-aunt had the honor of naming all the children in my family. She called me Mukhtar, which means powerful, self-respecting. And that always was strange for me, because I'm very thin, and in my culture, a thin person is considered weak. My village is Mirwala in the southern part of Pakistan, one of the poorest areas in the Punjab. We are from the Gajars, a peasant tribe of low caste. Like other girls, I played with dolls and climbed trees, but all daughters must learn special jobs so they will be useful in the family. I was taught to do embroidery. I also grew flowers and plants, and that is something I still love to do. Last year, I planted jasmine and started some fruit trees too. But birds came. They ate up the mango and the lemon trees. And so I replanted them. But the goats came again. And again. They didn't know that I'm just as stubborn as they are. Whatever they do, I'm going to keep on with the plantings, and one day I think the goats will just give up and my trees will have the victory. My village had no school and no one in my family could read or write. I didn't have any idea that in other places girls were being educated. I didn't know that I had been taught nothing about the world. No, I was taught something. All girls were, I was taught silence. I was taught fear. I was taught that some people are higher and some are inferior. I learned to hide my face and bow my head, to submit, to agree, to obey my parents and stay away from boys. But time caught me. It gave me a lesson.
The war in Vietnam, we never thought it would come to Cambodia. We were listening to the Beatles. And then it came. My mother and father took me on a plane to France. I left my family. I was 18, and I was so desperate. I never went back to say goodbye. From an innocent teenager to a refugee, hopeless and an orphan.
If you start in Afghanistan, where I was born, I was there until the age of 9. We had everything. Because my father was a doctor, we were in danger. He tried to help too many people and children. We had to flee Kabul and flee Russians, and then to flee the Taliban. How could I know my family would live in Pakistan refugee camp for 50 years? The best years of my youth.
My husband and I are on our first vacation in years in Finland. We go mountain skiing and he feels tired. He says, I'll go and take a nap, and suddenly I realize this nap is getting too long. When I find him, he is still alive, but in the emergency room, they are not able to save him. Heart attack. He is 37. I am 33. He was the only one at the time who was understanding and supporting my mission. I am alone. I wonder, do I have the strength to do this work?
My mother, my brother, and me lived together in a small, dark room. From a little window, I could look out and see my madre cooking. I still remember when I was very young, watching her stooped over a pot, cooking a meal for us. Each night we eat black meat, frijoles with tortillas. I saw a woman go over to our little outdoor kitchen and put dirt in the pot my mother was stirring. Our family's food for that day was famished, our only meal, and my mother began to sob. I was young, but I knew I wanted to get out of that world, a world where women, being so angry and hopeless, they threw dirt in your food, or like my mother, all the time in silence, crying and crying. It is this beginning of my life that is responsible for me being today.
So the city of Derry is on this hill. And on the bottom of the hill is a collection of streets known as the Bogside. Long ago, it would be very poor people, Catholics, coming in from rural areas, the poorest of the poor. And I remember being told, when I was looking down at the bomb site from the Hill of Magee, and a neighbour came up to me saying, "You don't go down there." And now I'm married to a Catholic from down there. It was the summer of '68 when I met her. I went to London, I walk into this bar, and there's this guy with a Derry accent selling drinks. I buy a drink, and I'm still married to him. He was much more politically aware. Listening to him talk about the North, I began to glimpse the other, darker world. We hitched to Portugal, happy. But on TV at the youth hostel, we saw the first huge civil rights demonstration in Derry. I saw my husband's face go white. People were being beaten off of the streets. We hitched straight back home. I was in the same physical landscape, but in reality I'd crossed over into another country.
Some men of the Bastoni tribe come to our home and say that my 12-year-old brother has committed zina with a girl from their clan and will go to jail. This crime they put on him means rape or sex before marriage and is punishable by death. My family is sure that the accusation is false, but what can we do? The Mastori are the higher caste than we are. They are landowners, so whatever they say is law. The men of the Jirga, our village council, meet to discuss the situation and decide that I, Mukhtar, must ask forgiveness for my brother. If this will free him, I'm happy to do it. It is twilight when I begin walking toward the farm of the Mastoyas, holding my prayer book to my breast. My father and uncle go with me. We enter their compound with its high walls. The clan chief, Faiz Mohammed, and 4 other men are standing there with rifles. And behind them are many more men of their tribe. I lay down my shawl as a sign of submission. Then I look at Faiz and say, if my brother offended you, I beg pardon for his action, and I beseech you to set him free. Faiz glares at me with wild eyes, and now I understand. He will not forgive our family. He wants only to humiliate someone. And as always, it will be a woman. But never did I imagine what happened next.
Well, I'd gotten the message early that morning that something had happened in Nigeria. And I thought it had to do with my dad. My older brother was in DC, so we all congregated at his home, waiting for word. Then I got a call from my sister, Ayo.
Have you heard anything?
No,
Your mother was in an accident.
that was my mother, her stepmother. I wasn't worried, because I knew my mum was very strong. I was waiting for word about the extent of injuries, what they wanted us to do. And Ayo called me again later.
Have you heard?
No,
How sad. Your mother is dead.
4 men pulled me by my hair and arms and dragged me into a windowless room. I'm thrown on the dirt floor, a stable. I scream for them to release me, but one man shows me his gun and the others hold me down. modern